live and pre-recorded. This is the Red Ticket Blues Podcast. I am Brian Buckley. This is being recorded on February 29th to hit the internets on March 1st, 2016. How is everybody doing? It's a leap year. Leap into the new month. If you have any other, calendar jokes, if you hear anyone have a calendar joke over the age of 10, you have my permission to punch that person in the face. Remember, you can always listen to the show on iTunes, TuneIn, Radio, Stitcher, YouTube, and follow me on Twitter at BrianBuck13 and at Red Ticket Blues. So again, you have that permission. I will sign a document for you. So there you go. Nothing worse than calendar humor. How's everybody doing? This horrible month of February is almost over. And I know some of you are probably thinking, horrible. I like the NBA. I like the NHL. I like college basketball. I like college basketball too. But it just doesn't have the same flair it does this year. But March is coming. Like Nas is coming. March is coming. You have spring training getting going. People, they're still stretching. Cliche quotes. And, I think they may actually playing some split squad games. Don't promise. Do not promise anything. And we get March Madness going. NBA starts to heat up. And is there anyone hotter than Steph Curry? I that might be the most... That's such a rhetorical question. It really is. And it's only been repeated 45,000 times. But, I mean, that performance on Saturday night against the Oklahoma City Thunder was just ridiculous. Especially that overtime. We'll talk about that. But again, how is everybody? It's these months. Even though the weather's not even terrible, these are the months that really push you sometimes. So we're gonna persevere. We're gonna get through, and we're gonna do it together, right? All right. So let's start off with something totally non-sports related, and I didn't watch a second of it, so I should definitely be the person to be commenting on it. And that is the Oscars. The Oscars were last night. It was a big deal because of the lack of diversity that has. It's been in the news. We've heard all about it. And I haven't seen any movies this year. I don't know if there were certain minorities that were left out or not. I'll tell you this, though. I contemplated watching it just because Twitter is, I think I mentioned this before, it's like a hotbed. It's a big night for them. Black tie event. People are tweeting in their best gear. It's one of those, it's almost like when you're inside the Twitter, when you're on Twitter during the Oscars or some awards show like that, it's almost like stand-up. It's like stand-up comedy, and you just want to hear laughs in the form of retweets. You want to say, I'm just here for the retweets, all right? I'm just here trying to see some stuff may fail, but if you get that right one that works, boom, 50 retweets, 75 favorites. And it's almost like when you're doing stand-up, if people are walking out and they really like your show and they buy your shit, hey, I'll buy a CD, that's a follower. Do you get the analogy here? You get it. So I wanted to partake in it, but here's the thing. I can't stand award shows. I don't care what color you are. Hollywood phonies, they just don't do it for me. I'm sorry. I didn't see any of the movies. And I have nothing to add other than the fact that, here's the thing. I can understand why minorities may be upset that are in the business. Yeah, so what? It's an award. Doesn't mean anything. Yeah, but you know what? You have to understand the human psyche at the same time. There's an ego involved. So I get that. People that aren't involved, who cares? I will sign, speaking of signing documents, I will sign a document now for the rest of time that another white person never wins an award, and I will not bat an eyelash. Well, I won't even do an eyebrow either. I will not lose 1 minute of sleep. That's how little I care about the Oscars. But they are over, and I'm sure Twitter was afire, but I missed out. I think I was watching, my wife was rewatching Parks and Rec, and I was watching it for the first time. Because, again, I don't pick up on things very quickly when it comes to watching them. That didn't make any sense. I don't pick up on things, made me look stupid. But what was I saying? Thanks for reinforcing that stupidity. It takes me a while to watch things, to see things, to talk about things. So, yeah, tomorrow we'll be reviewing the Bay of Pigs invasion and, anything like that. The Challenger explosion. So, breaking news. But that's the Oscars. I hope people that watched it enjoyed it, and we can move on. And it's still another 363 days because of that leap year until the next Oscars. Oh God. I hope. But you know what? At the same time, I'm sitting here shitting on the Oscars. It's just as stupid as sports when you think about it. Inconsequential winning of trophies to people that have nothing to do with me in any part of my life. It's so unimportant. It's just dumb. So I guess I gotta, break bread and, not break bread. I gotta extend an olive branch and say, hey, I get it. I'm into sports. None of that matters to me. Moving on. Before I got into a little of the sports and individual stuff, there was the big topic of the weekend and then college basketball, and that was court storming. Court storming is a problem for a few days, and then it's not a problem. Then it's a problem again. It's I heard Gary Parrish of CBS Sports saying that on college basketball podcast. It's not to the same extent, but it's almost like how gun violence is a big deal, and then it's not until it happens again, and then everyone's crazy, and then it goes away. Or even better comparison, like these are sports cause monsters. You've heard me talk about cause monsters before. Here's another one. How many lions have been killed right now? Since Cecil the lion, how many unnamed lions are dead? No one cares. No one cares. But that lion was a big deal. What am I talking? This isn't completely relevant here. So let's go back to court storming. That didn't even make any sense. But the court storming, Sean Miller, the Arizona head coach, and he has complained about this several times in the past, so give him credit. He's saying the only way that court storming and the way we look at court storming is going to change. He said, I have no problem being a great sport, but eventually what's going to happen in the Pac-12 is this. An Arizona player, and I'll notice he said his own player because it sounds like they're ready to punch people. That's basically what it sounds like. He didn't say anyone else. He didn't say UCLA or USC. He said an Arizona player. So Sean Miller is prepping them, or he's trying to calm them down because they're just ready to punch people. An Arizona player is going to punch a fan, and they're going to punch the fan out of self-defense. And only when it happens will everyone take a deep breath and say, we have to do something to protect both teams. Now, Sean Miller is absolutely right. I'll tell you, I used to think court storming was really cool when I was in college. And then after that, I saw how stupid it is. Because what are you essentially doing? I hope you're drunk, because if you're sober, court storming, get a life. Really, you need to go get drunk. That's what you need to do. Go get drunk, get high, do something. Because court storming sober, that's an atrocity. And you should be ashamed of yourself. And your parents should stop paying your bills. And you should be terminated from the school. Well, it's expelled, Brian, not terminated. They don't kill you. But here's the thing. Court storming, I do understand in certain senses when you're like East Bumblefuck State and you beat North Carolina. I get that. That's huge. If you have won a title in the last 20 years, or if you are ranked, if it's something along those lines, like Iowa State was ranked this year and stormed the court after a win over somebody. Was it Kansas or Oklahoma? That's pathetic. That is absolutely pathetic. I could see why Fred Hoiberg left. Why would you want to be the coach of a team that represents that student body? That's pathetic. That's the way I look at it. But what are you going to do? And of course, then it became, like I said, it became an issue. CBS on Sunday, was it Sunday or Saturday? John Calipari took his players off the field. Doug Gottlieb was on his soapbox talking about it. Cameramen were zooming in everywhere. Oh, look, there's the court storming. It could be this. Everyone was anticipating the court storming. And eventually they came out, ran out there. And you know what's got to be the saddest existence? What happens at the end of a court storming? We just go, we jumped on everyone. All right, now it's over. All right, so go back to my seat where I was sitting, get my jacket, and go home. And then tell everyone I stormed the court. And tell friends at, office parties 30 years from now. There was this one time in college. I was so nuts. I stormed the court. Yep, true story. I stormed the court. So, I don't know. Eventually, Sean Miller's absolutely right. Eventually someone's going to get hurt. And then we'll say, oh, now court storming is hurting people. It's killing people. Someone could die. And yeah, some of you are probably saying, oh boy, old man Brian, people are dying at court storming now. No, they're not, but they could. Drinking water here. Sorry about that. No beer tonight. Drank enough this weekend. Oh, I drank enough. Nothing terrible. But enough. Ballast Point, man. Ballast Point out of California. I think it's San Diego. That is some really good beer. I had the pineapple sculpin. Not that great. Not sure about that one. It's okay. It's okay. The grapefruit one's great. I know some of you are not craft beer fans. Oh, we're just yelling out fruits that are infused with beers. Wow, that's really manly and cool. Did you have a daiquiri after that? No, it's good beer. I'm telling you. It's really good. I do like the what's the one with the blue fish on it? They have fishes on them. So for dullards like me, I can remember which one. That's the fish, the blue one. Yeah. So they make it easy for the idiots. So, and I appreciate Ballast Point for that. But very, very good stuff. So as I was saying about the NBA earlier and Steph Curry, now Steph Curry what he's doing is just ridiculous at this point. Now, during the game against the Thunder last week, it went to overtime. It was an amazing game. I probably watched most of the fourth quarter and then the overtime. So I got a little bit of it. Hey, I'm watching a lot of Parks and Rec. Leslie Knope she's crazy, and that Ron Swanson. Don't even get me going. I do love Ron. I mean, you have to love Ron. But what was I going to say? Steph Curry. So he made a few ridiculous threes, obviously. And at this point, the ridiculous threes are just sort of the customary. I'm just sitting there watching. I'm like, oh, nice shot. Yeah. But he threw up one shot that, it's an overtime. It's an overtime game. It's in overtime. And he just sort of like throws up this shot like it's like the end of a quarter. And it almost goes in, but it doesn't. And then I'm sitting there and my old man pants, old man shoes on saying, what the hell kind of shot is that? That's ridiculous I don't care how good he is. You don't throw that sort of shot in the overtime game against a big team, even though all these games are meaningless for the Warriors at this point, let's be honest. And he comes back down right near at the end there and shoots it from the other side of the court. Basically the same spot, and it goes right in. So then I thought to myself, Brian, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. You are clearly a spectator and a fan and not a player. And Steph Curry, I don't really like the dancing at the end, but he's so damn good. I'm going to allow it. Yes, me. The one who bitches and moans about every goddamn celebration in the world. I will allow that. To an extent. So good for Steph Curry. And hey, the Warriors are pretty damn good. What again, you're running out of superlatives and adjectives to talk about the Golden State Warriors. And I never thought I'd see a team better than Jordan's team, but they look pretty damn good. That 72-10 mark. Still a lot of time, man. You got a month and a half that still can only lose 5 games. But that's, I think, all they've won all this year. I think that's their record. I don't have it in front of me right now. Nice preparation, asshole. Did you really need the record of the Warriors? It'll probably change by tomorrow anyways. But what else happened in the NBA? What else is going on? Well, I did see that Amare Stoudemire returned to the Knicks as a member of the Miami Heat and took some shots at Carmelo Anthony, which we all knew were sort of the case, that he didn't want Jeremy Lin. Not using Carmelo's name, even though Carmelo responded to the remarks, even though his name was not mentioned in it. Just said some people weren't happy with Jeremy Lin's success, and he was unhappy that Mari was unhappy that Jeremy Lin left. Let's be honest, we all loved Lin's sanity. It was a great everyone except Carmelo Anthony. And I was annoyed at the time, but think about the contract that he was demanding, what Houston gave him. It didn't make any sense to keep him. And Carmelo didn't take the bait. He just said, hey, if that were the case, I'd be doing the same thing with Kristaps right now, trying to take the limelight. So Kristaps Porzingis. So Carmelo maturing a little bit. I like Amari, but he was an ass. I mean, just bonehead plays. Seemed like a nice guy. Breaking his hand in the fire extinguisher and hurting himself dunking in a playoff game and before the game. That's just stuff I don't know. Weird guy, dressed like Kumo D, sitting under the Eiffel Tower, laying in wine. Strange guy. Not good for him, though. He made his money. Who knows what could happen even have those microfractures issues. Yeah, that's all I got with the NBA right now. And that'll heat up soon. We'll have a guest this week who is a insider to college basketball and NBA basketball, so stay tuned for that. If I can't bring you the sports any way that I can in regards to those sports, he will. So look forward to that. Let's just touch in real quick with the NFL, and that being that nobody wants Colin Kaepernick. Who's gonna want you now, Colin? More like nobody. Huh? Can't hardly wait. No. And we've heard all sorts of different rumors he would go to the Jets. And then maybe but he liked it in San Francisco when Chip Kelly came. No, but then he requested a trade. Yeah, but the Texans are interested. Nope, they're not interested. Well, the Browns could nope, they don't want him either. Oh, no, but the 49ers are saying he's staying there. And his people are saying no. So it sounds like a huge mess there. I don't know what happened to Colin Kaepernick. I mean, some people can equate it to Jim Harbaugh leaving. Really? Does a guy who was that great when he first came into the league just fall apart that quickly? I mean, I understand the team has changed too, but I mean, and he did get surgery at the end of last year, but what happened to Colin Kaepernick? He's still young. I'm not a huge fan of him. I think you even heard some people say in San Francisco, some media people, it was only one person I think said he was the most difficult athlete to ever work with in his 25 years of work there. One of the most arrogant or self-centered athletes. He has a long career left, so he has time to change his game, his attitude, and the way people perceive him. So I'm not gonna, throw in the white towel. Why would I be throwing in the white towel? I'm not gonna chastise him as a bad guy for his entire career. You got to give people time sometimes. You just got to give people now. DeMarcus Cousins, that guy, will he ever? I don't understand the obsession with that guy. Can someone explain that to me? I understand he's an amazing talent, but what a malcontent at all times. And then just giving him that nickname Boogie. Boogie. You see Bill Simmons. I mean, he can't control himself. Every podcast, I'd do anything to get Boogie on the Celtics. DeMarcus Cousins seems like one guy I do not want on any team that I'm associated with. And I'm not associated with any of them. But if I was, I wouldn't want him anywhere near it. So, what was I going to say? The NFL... I'm reading... My friend, the brothers, and they're trying to antagonize their father about voting for Trump because his father is a huge Trump fan. So it's actually, and I'm all just witnessing this on text message because I'm on the group text. So it's kind of interesting. Trump, you can't get away from him, man. He's a bully. He has nothing of substance. When he talks at those debates, you know what it's almost like? It's like the cliche responses at spring training. It's just like, yep, we're gonna build that wall. Yeah, we look great on paper. You got to play the games, though. The wall's going to be beautiful. We're going to win again. We don't win anymore. We are losing. It's just all fluff and blubber and shit. Fluff, blubber, and shit. Not a Detroit guy I want to be involved in. What was I talking about? Football, though. And Robert Griffin, the Redskins want to get something for him before I think it's March 9th, they have to get rid of him. But they want to get something for him in a trade, but no one wants to pick up that $16 million. So looks like they'll just be cutting him in the next few days. He's another guy. He doesn't seem to have a bad attitude to the media. He just has quite a condescending, carrying a cross attitude with the media. But it seems like he's not a very good guy in the clubhouse, but he has a lot of time to change too. Maybe this year, he didn't have one snap this year. Not one snap. So maybe this year off will help him be a better player going forward. A lot of reports of him going to the Cowboys. And man, Tony Romo's putting a protective plate in his shoulder. You can't rely on him in anything. He's not done, but anytime he gets a sack now, it could be career ending. You can't rely on him in anything. And Mr. Peyton Manning, the quarterback of the Super Bowl winning Denver Broncos, was expected to retire this week, but now his agent, I don't know if he's just screwing with us, said today that this is such bullshit too. His agent, Tom Condon, was on the Sirius XM NFL channel, and that what happened here? On the Sirius XM NFL radio channel, and he admitted that when he talks to Manning, they don't really bring up the retirement subject. Really? You gotta be shitting me. They don't bring up the retirement subject. Oh, hi, you're my huge client that makes tons of money, but we're not going to talk about this. No, I don't want to talk about if we're going to continue playing football. I mean, it's such a lie. How dumb do they think we are? Well, pretty dumb. You see Trump's leading in all the polls. However, Condon did add that Manning dropped a few interesting nuggets during one of their conversations. And this is from his agent. The closest he's got to disclosing any of his intentions was that he said he just wanted to take his time and make sure. And he said, I really like to play. first of all, he probably never said that. Second of all, that's just code for I'm going to screw with the public. That's like Billy Madison, coded language. Billy likes soda. Mrs. Lippy drives a blue car. I like to play. If anyone's biting on that and thinking Peyton Manning's playing this year, you're an asshole. So, the NFL, I haven't seen any of the NFL Combine. I find it very creepy and very weird that we treat these people just like animals as they're like looking at that. It's some people love it. I don't get it, man. If you're a scout or you love that dynamic of the sport, then obviously it doesn't get much more up your alley than that. But I find the whole thing very creepy, very, very weird, but very weird. But more power to you. It's on all day long on the NFL Network. So good luck with all of that. Good, and then Jerry Seinfeld, yes. Good luck with all of that. It wasn't funny the second time, Brian. Let's see. I guess we'll move on to baseball and then call it a night. Like I said, this is the end of a very boring month. We're only at 20 minutes. That's not bad. How can I just talk and talk and talk? And you listen to this. Well, I thank you for listening. I shouldn't say it in that manner. But you did it. You listened to me, and I really appreciate it. I guess the big things I took away from spring training so far is, let's see, UNS Cespedes is bringing a new car to work every day. Ridiculous vehicles that most people don't even make the price of that in a year. Which, you know what, he's a millionaire. He's allowed to. I just find it a little attention-seeking, but it's really not that big of a deal. However, the only reason I did kind of make it a big of a deal, boy, can you just go more of a hypocrite that quickly? Can you do it any quicker than that? Is that he has a history of, rubbing people in the clubhouse the wrong way. Just a little bit. I mean, he's been on how many teams now? He's been on the A's, Red Sox, Tigers, and the Mets. So that's 4 teams in like 6 years? I think there's a little something to that when you're that good as UNS Cespedes. So when he's batting .240 with 2 home runs in June 15th, the cars aren't as funny anymore. But again, it's spring training, whatever, who cares? The guy likes flashy cars, go for it. Billy likes soda, UNS likes flashy cars. Deal with it. But the other thing was, let's see. Now in Toronto, there seems to be some controversy. That being Jose Bautista, who he has a very high opinion of himself, and I guess it's warranted. I mean, he had an amazing year last year. How amazing, you ask? Well, let's see if I actually have the numbers up. Hey, look at that. The website's frozen. And let's see. So he is demanding $150 million contract for 5 years, and he is 35 years old, and this is the kicker. There's no negotiation. That is the number. And he feels, hey, I'm not going down because I feel like I'm already giving you a discount. Now, Jay Jaffe, is it Jay Jaffe? Jay Jaffe of Sports Illustrated did some sort of, Jay Jaffe, some sort of algorithm to say that he's actually undervalued. I know it's hard to think in this day and age that's undervalued, but these guys produce money, so they should be paid accordingly. The only issue I have with Mr. Bautista is that the fact that he's 35 years old, he has not always been what the hell happened to my Jose Bautista? That sounded like really, what happened to my Jose Bautista? It went to the SI cover story here. All right, we don't need that. He's had issues in the past with the media there in Toronto. He's now has a little issue. He had that little boycott. He wouldn't talk to the Canadian media outlet, which his name is escaping me. He's upset with the front office. He feels like I already said all this. I think what Mr. Bautista has to understand is you're 35 years old. Now, he raked last year. Don't get me wrong. I think he hit 40 home runs, and he's been top 10, the MVP. At best, 40 home runs, hit 250. But OPS 149, 5.1 wins above replacement. Okay, I'm not doing all this. Listen to another podcast if you want baseball analytics up the yazoo, because it's not happening. And he flipped a bunch of bats and controversy 22. Okay, who gives a shit? So there's issues there, and I really hate doing this stuff. Bringing up these pages and these pop-up ads, and I'm glad you can't hear them, because now I'm just listening to a Comcast ad about a woman, how she loves Comcast so much, and it reminds her of her mother's meatballs. And nothing could be further from the truth. I don't think Comcast actually does. Which is the hell with Jose Bautista. You're just going to have to get it from memory now. I think I basically said everything. So, yeah, he's going to be with the Blue Jays this year. And as long as he has a big year, he's going to get paid. He's going to get a nice 2-year, 3-year deal. His 5-year deal is not going to happen. The Blue Jays will let him walk. And if, for whatever reason, they are not in the playoff hunt this year, which they will be, then maybe they'll try to move him. Who knows? I don't know the draft pick stipulations involved with that, if any. But Jose Bautista is an amazing player. But if he wants that kind of money, you narrow it down to a few teams. Would he stay in the division with the Red Sox or the Yankees? I think the Yankees are most likely trying to get rid of those big contracts. You're going to see CeCe and Teixeira say goodbye, even though Teixeira says he wants to play till he's 40. I don't know how he's going to do that unless he's in a wheelchair and with an IV hooked up to him. And I don't know, other things that old people have, or just people that are breaking down. I don't know, you probably need a shot at every base he went to. Teixeira's a nice guy. He is right behind A-Rod when it comes to saying dumb things. Even though A-Rod doesn't really do that anymore. Except for that video when he was leaving his house saying, hey, on my way to spring training, just driving his Maybach. You want to have a Maybach just like a UNS? You want to afford it, but come on, A-Rod, you're doing so well with the PR, man. I'm all over the place here. But staying in Toronto here, you also saw today that Troy Tulowitzki is still angry at the Rockies for trading him. Now, this is the same guy who lobbied to be traded for what seemed like half of his career in Colorado, but I guess he was not happy that he wasn't told about the trade. Now, I have little sympathy for Troy Tulowitzki. I know some people say, well, he's a baseball player on a team. He has a relationship with the front office. They should be honest with him, and I agree with that. However, Tulowitzki is the same guy who, again, like I just said, openly lobbied to play for the Yankees. He's going to baseball games watching Derek Jeter as a member of the Rockies. It was no secret he wanted to be out of there. Now, what it does do is sends a bad message to the rest of the team there and any future players for the Colorado Rockies, saying that, hey, well, we'll tell you when you'll be traded, and then just not do it. That wasn't a smart move going forward for them. Dealing with someone like Tulowitzki, I'm sure the Rockies were probably happy to get rid of him. Great player, brittle, ego. Tulowitzki, something about him, Jose Bautista, both got attitudes. And Josh Donaldson, he's got a little attitude too. Look at me, I'm the attitude police. I tell people who has attitudes and who doesn't. I like Edwin Encarnacion, but we'll have to see how the baseball. We had Chad Finn of the Boston Globe last week. He doesn't really see. He's skeptical about the Boston Red Sox and their 8-1 predictions to win the World Series. So that should be interesting. The Yankees are right behind them. Blue Jays are right behind them too. So AL East maybe could dominate, or again, they could just beat the hell out of each other. And we know how that goes. So what does that mean? There's one other thing I wanted to touch on in baseball, and that was Ian Desmond. Now, Ian Desmond, the former, well, he's the second baseman for the Texas Rangers. However, the former Washington National, who, let's remember this, 2 years ago, Ian Desmond turned down a reported 7-year, $107 million extension from the Washington Nationals. And I'm reading this from Fox Sports, so don't accuse me of plagiarism here. Choosing to instead, as we hear so often in sports, bet on himself by playing 2 years and hoping to cash in the 2016 free agency. Now, his contract year, he was awful. He was terrible. He was real garbage. Let's see, what were his numbers? He was 233, 19 home runs, 62 RBIs, a very, very large decrease. OPS 674, slugging percentage 384. Good God. And what did he do last year? In the middle of the season, even with this going on, he turned down a qualifying offer from the Nationals for a little under $16 million. So now, here, after not blowing because he didn't actually have it, but, saying no to that money, refusing, there's the word, Brian, refusing that money, he signed an $8 million deal with the Texas Rangers this weekend for 1 year. Talk about gambling and losing. Talk about it. That's pathetic. Not pathetic. That's just a sad sight. Oh, speaking of pathetic, well, another sad sight. Anthony Bennett, too. Former number 1 pick. Cleveland Cavs. Out of the league today. Jeez. Where'd that come from? That's all I got. I think that's all I got this week. Yeah, I don't know what else I can say. Super Tuesday tomorrow. So I'm sure everyone will be on Twitter like that. Get your stand-up ready. Get your water. Watch out for the hecklers. They don't like your tweet. Come on. But Super Tuesday, Bernie versus Hillary, and the grand old primary. It's getting scary, people. This Donald Trump stuff's getting scary. He is saying nothing every day, and more people continue to like it. Just interrupt people at a debate. I feel like idiocracy is closing in. Closing in. If you've ever seen the movie Idiocracy with Luke Wilson, it's happening. It is happening before our very eyes. If you're voting for Trump, you're a part of it. I don't even like to get political, but he is not a real candidate. Vote for anyone else on either party. I don't care. I beg of you. He's a demon. All right. He's a demon. Anyways, remember, you can always listen to the show on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, YouTube, and follow me on Twitter at BrianBuck13 and at Red Ticket Blues. Like the show on Facebook. Hey, and if you need to contact me or anything, here's my email, brian.buckley@redticketblues.com. If you want to send me an email for whatever reason, or you could probably just send me a direct message on Twitter and tell me how much I suck if that was your intention, which it most likely is. Like the show on Facebook, and there's the email. That's right. And, subscribe and give the show a review if you have not already done so. And with all that being said, enjoy the rest of your February and beginning of March. I'm out of here.